going on, guys? My name is Stuber, and I'm here to break down this 3-game NBA slate on Draftkings and PrizePicks.com. If you guys are new here, welcome. If you guys are a returning viewer, welcome back. It is NFL Sunday, the #1 day to play NBA DFS. Everybody's focused on NFL, losing their ass, trying to make their money back in NBA with doing very little research, and we take advantage of those things because we're focusing solely on NBA over here. If you guys do want to enter my giveaway, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. I'll be running another giveaway as well. If you guys are wondering if you won yesterday's giveaway, I'll announce that winner momentarily. But yeah, I will be live. I'll probably go live about 30 minutes before lock today because there is only 3 games. We are waiting on a ton of injury news, so if it gets crazy, I will extend it out to an hour. But make sure to subscribe down below so you will be notified. You can go ahead and hit that bell notification button right by it, and you'll be notified when I do go live. But make sure to join my Discord as well. That is linked down below in the description, completely free. We took advantage of PrizePicks massively yesterday, massively. I talked about it a bit in the video yesterday, and yeah, it pays to be in that Discord. And again, it is completely free. So once injury news breaks, we're taking advantage of all the plays we can over on PrizePicks. We're quicker than they are at PrizePicks, so we take advantage of those things. And if you guys do want to know what I'm playing exactly on FanDuel, Draftkings at PrizePicks.com every single day. You can join my Patreon, only $25 a month. I think it's a pretty damn good deal. It is linked in the description as well as the pinned comment. But let's just jump right into this 3-game slate. And to announce the giveaway winner of yesterday, we had 75 eligible participants. We'll select one right here. Hopefully it's an OG. Congrats to whoever wins it though. Jesse Davis. Let's go, fam. Another great night last night. Let's get it, man. So yeah, we had a pretty good night yesterday as well. So back-to-back good nights for Jesse Davis. I assume, Jesse, just hit me up on Twitter, DM me. I will get you your $25 via Venmo or Cash App, whatever it may be. If you guys do want to join today's giveaway, go ahead and come over to my Twitter account at Taylor Stuber. It's linked in the description, or you can type it out right here. Come over to my pinned comment and just go ahead and drop a like on this, and we'll randomly select a winner tomorrow for another $25 cash via Cash App or Venmo, whatever it may be for you. I could probably make PayPal work as well. Let's just start with the Charlotte Hornets and the Atlanta Hawks. We have a 220 over under. The Hawks are currently 7-point favorites, which I'm pretty skeptical on as of right now. I think that is just in case we get a ton of injury news on the Atlanta Hawks side. The Hornets, they are going to be without LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Mason Plumlee, and Jalen McDaniels. So 4 key pieces of their rotation out due to COVID-related symptoms, and so they're going to be very, very thin. They recalled a bunch of these guys from the G League, like Scotty Lewis, like James Bouknight, who are going to have to play minutes tonight. But as long as this game is competitive, I'm expecting very, very condensed minutes and a very condensed rotation between Miles Bridges, Hayward, Oubre, PJ Washington, Ish Smith. Ish Smith going to take up pretty much all of the point guard minutes, going to play all the minutes he can handle because of how thin they are. As long as this game is competitive, like I mentioned, my favorite guys from this team are definitely Oubre, PJ Washington. I think PJ Washington at $5,700 is quite the bargain. He's going to play pretty ample playing time here. And then Ish Smith, of course, at $4,800 has constantly been a good per-minute producer. And the Atlanta Hawks are a pretty poor defense, especially in the half court. Perform very, very poorly in the half court. If you guys want to tail me over here on PrizePicks, again, we killed it yesterday. I'm kind of waiting around for injury news to place bigger bets on the Patreon, but if you guys do want to tail me over here on PrizePicks right now, just from this video, because I do give away plays pretty much for free every single day in these videos. So I like the Jared Allen 35.5 fantasy points. Now, this game may have started by the time you're watching this, but I do like the over on it. I know it is a tougher matchup against the Utah Jazz. I do expect that game to play close, and Jared Allen has just taken on this new offensive role with no Colin Sexton. That is 35.5 fantasy projection is pretty damn low. I know the matchup is tough, but I still think he gets there. He's playing big minutes as well. This whole Cavs team is playing big minutes overall. I like the Darius Garland over as well, but really sticking with Jared Allen right here. And like I was just mentioning, PJ Washington at 30.5 fantasy points. I absolutely love this right here for him. Yeah, so PJ Washington over 30.5 fantasy points, and Jarrett Allen over 35.5 fantasy points. If you guys do want to tail me over here, make sure to sign up and deposit using code Taylor, TAYLOR, for a 100% match bonus up to $100. And just to reiterate on the slate as a whole, I'm really just focusing in on the Charlotte Hornets. We'll get to the Atlanta Hawks in a second, but depending on the news, we could get some plays from there, and then a ton of Houston Rockets. The Rockets and the Hornets are the guys that you want in your lineups today. Move on to the Atlanta Hawks side. Bogdanovich, DeAndre Hunter, and Onyeka Okongwu are all out. Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, and Trae Young, they are all questionable. So it's all dependent on the news. This is the first game of the slate, so we will get news ahead of time. So I'll go over a bit in the stream once we get this news. It's hard to discuss it right now because of so many things up in the air, but there is bound to be very good value from this side, especially with how good the matchup is against the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets have had like a 125 defensive rating, which is abysmal since Mason Plumlee has been out of the lineup. They have been very, very poor defensively, and they are the third fastest team in the entire NBA. So a very good spot for the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to want to get some pieces from them once the injury news is released. Move on to the Washington Wizards versus the Toronto Raptors. A 212 over under. The Raptors are currently 1-point favorites. The Wizards are going to be without Thomas Bryant and Rui Hachimura. You know, I just talked about it. I'm not really considering anybody from this game as a whole, but if you do want to play somebody from this Washington team to be contrarian, Montrezl Harrell and Daniel Gafford, for the most part, split all 48 center minutes in competitive games. We've seen the last couple games, Danny Avdija has been playing well and has been getting some minutes at the 5. I think in this matchup specifically, they probably stick with Harrell and Gafford playing all 48 center minutes. So they are now priced at pretty similarly, only $100 difference right now. So whoever ends up playing the majority of the minutes are probably going to just completely demolish their price tags at $52 and $5,100. They are so good on a per minute basis that I think they are good GPP tournament flyers. Obviously, don't play them together, but whoever ends up playing, you know, the 26, 27 minutes as opposed to like the 21, 22 minutes on the other side is likely going to end up being a pretty solid tournament option at virtually no ownership. Move over to the Toronto Raptors. They are going to be without OG Anunoby, Kem Birch, and Goran Dragic. You know, they've priced up Scotty Barnes pretty significantly here. The Washington Wizards have been very, very good defensively this year, especially on the perimeter. So pretty bad matchup for Fred VanVleet, in my opinion. They are playing big minutes, so they could get there. But overall, I'm really not focusing on anybody on the Toronto Raptors outside of Precious Achiuwa at 4,500, who will continue to start without OG Anunoby. I talk about it all the time in my videos. The Wizards are the number one matchup to target front courts, to target centers against. So Precious Achiuwa at $4,500, he's probably going to play 32 to 34 minutes in this matchup, and he is $4,500, one of the better plays on the entire slate. I don't mind getting him in your cast lineups as well. So if you guys want to stack like the Hornets, Hawks, and then the Houston Rockets with Precious Achiuwa, I think that is totally fine. Move on to the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Houston Rockets at 220.5 over under. The Pelicans are currently 3-point favorites. The Pelicans are going to be without Zion Williamson. Josh Hart is questionable. I think Josh Hart may end up playing in this game. Garrett Temple has been starting in his place. And it also looks like so if Josh Hart plays, I think he's a fine play at $5,400. If I'm targeting anybody from here, it's Jonas Valanciunas and Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has really taken on a much larger role recently after the coach has talked about immensely how they need to get him more involved in the offense. Brandon Ingram has also talked recently about how upset he is about how poorly they are playing right now. This is a good spot to get a win, even though the Houston Rockets are currently on a 5-game win streak somehow. But this is a very, very good matchup against the Houston Rockets, a very poor defensive team that are the fastest team in the NBA. So a lot of extra plays going the way of Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas, two of the better spend-up options on the slate. Move over to the Houston Rockets, a team that I'm going to stack heavily tonight. Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Usman Garuba are all out. The Pelicans are the 4th worst defensive rated team in the entire NBA. So this game should play close, should play fast, and there should be little to no defense out there. So without Kevin Porter Jr., in Jalen Green, there is a ton of usage and minutes to go around, and that's going to be highly condensed between Christian Wood, Jae'Sean Tate, Eric Gordon for the most part. Armani Brooks is going to start. I assume he has started the second half of each of the last 2 games after Kevin Porter Jr. got injured in the first halves. Last game, he started the second half again, like I just mentioned, but they ended up closing with Jae'Sean Tate running the point forward position. So Jae'Sean Tate is the biggest beneficiary to no Kevin Porter Jr. He's going to be chalky, but I think it is definitely okay to play him today in cash GPPs. And then Eric Gordon, $5,200 is entirely too cheap. He has to play point guard a ton now with no Kevin Porter Jr. And I also, if you guys do want to add another play over here on PricePicks, I do like the over on Jae'Sean Tate, 32.5 fantasy points. I like the over on Eric Gordon, 25 fantasy points. And I like the over on Christian Wood, 38 fantasy points. Christian Wood is my favorite spin-up option on the slate. I was pretty concerned with no Kevin Porter Jr. how he would perform in the half court, because him and Kevin Porter Jr. have been playing very, very well together in the pick and roll. But, this matchup is so soft that Wood should get there pretty easily. So if you guys want to tell me, I mean, we could place, I'll actually place it right now. I haven't placed anything yet on PricePicks, but I'll place it right now because I do feel pretty confident in these Rockets guys getting here. My only concern with playing PJ Washington, these Hornets guys, is that, I know the spread is currently only 7 points right now, but I think that has to do with Vegas just being very, very safe with how with the injuries, because if Trae Young gets ruled out and they had it at like 10, everybody, obviously the Hornets plus 10 is going to look a lot better, but I think if once Trae Young is ruled in, I think that line is probably going to move a bit wider, get to like 8-9 points. But again, that game should stay competitive, in my opinion. So if you guys want to tail me over here, I'm going to go with Eric Gordon over 25 fantasy points, Christian Wood over 38, Jarrett Allen over 35.5, PJ Washington over 30.5. And we're going to go ahead and add Jae'Sean Tate as well over 32.5. We'll put $20 on this. If we hit all of these, we 10x our money. Even if we get 4 of them, we 2x our money, which has been happening a lot to me lately. I've been hitting 4 of these 5 correctly, just doubling up my money. Can't complain about that, but potential 10x returns is definitely nice. So go ahead and place that over here on PricePicks. Again, if you guys want to tail me over here, we've been running very, very hot. Use code Taylor, TAYLOR, when signing up and depositing for a 100% match bonus, and you could get my plays for completely free. Again, if you guys want to know exactly what I'm playing on DraftKings, FanDuel, and PricePicks.com every single day, you guys can join me on Patreon. That's linked down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. $25 a month, I think is a pretty damn good deal. I will be live streaming about 30 minutes before luck, since it is only a 3-game slate, to go over all the latest breaking injury news, as well as answering as many questions as I possibly can in that time. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Taylor Stuber. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that to enter the giveaways. Appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck tonight, and until next time, peace.